Welcome to Admissions Chat with Project Success. I'm Kaya, and today we are connecting with David at University of Wisconsin River Falls and our very special guest host from Project Success, Rose.
Hi, I'm Rose, and I'm a facilitator at Edison High School in Minneapolis, but I also work with all Minneapolis public school students through Project Success. I'm really excited to be here and hear from David about the University of Wisconsin River Falls. I am a proud alumni of River Falls, okay? So I have got some questions for David, but I'm also really just excited to share about another post-secondary option available to us. So thanks, Kaya.
Thank you, Rose. Rose will be asking questions based on student input at the end of this video. But first, we're going to start off with an introduction and admission session from David.
Yay.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. So my name is David Tolles. I'm an admissions counselor at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. I have a dual role in the office. I'm focusing on as the multicultural coordinator, and I'm also a transfer advisor in the office. So I get to work with students in a variety of capacities. A little bit about myself. I am originally from Beloit, Wisconsin, which is about 5 hours away from River Falls. So my undergraduate degree is from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I came to River Falls to complete my master's degree. So I finished that up, finishing that up in May, actually, in Student Affairs Administration. And so if you're not familiar with River Falls, we'll kind of jump into campus, where it's located, do a little bit about academics, kind of get a feel for the campus community. Last piece we'll touch on is going to be kind of affordability, cost, and value type stuff. So University of Wisconsin River Falls is located in River Falls, Wisconsin. It's about 30 minutes from downtown St. Paul, about 40 from downtown Minneapolis. Kind of gives you a point of reference for where we're at. We're a small to medium-sized campus, they tell us. We will, I'll kind of do a deeper dive into that. But I want to get started a little bit, focusing first on our kind of academic programs. So we have 4 distinct colleges on campus that houses our 70+ areas of study. I'm not going to do a super deep dive into all of our programs in majors because we'd be here for the next 3 days, but just know that there are a ton of options for students on campus. I will share what our top 5 majors are on campus. Just looking through all of our colleges, you're going to see a wide array of study opportunities for students. And so we've got excellent programs throughout all 4 of our colleges. College of Arts and Sciences focuses on your natural sciences, so something like a biology or a chemistry, your social and behavioral, so like a psychology or a sociology, and then also arts and humanities, so art, music, programs like you get to be more creative with, programs like that. College of Business and Economics, management, marketing, finance, accounting, your typical kind of business programs. Also some really cool computer science programs that are thrown in there as well. Education and professional studies. Shout out to all of our future teachers out there. We've been a teacher training institution for a number of years. It's kind of where River Falls started as an institution, and has got great opportunities for students to get involved in that capacity. And then our largest college on campus is the College of Agricultural, Food, and Environmental Studies. Environmental Science, wow. So Cafes houses our biggest program on campus, which is animal science. We have programs in meat animal, equine, which is horses, or companion animal. There's 2 campus lab farms, so students get a ton of hands-on experiences working with animals, both on the science side and the business side. We've been a top feeder school for several vet schools and graduate schools across the country for a number of years now, and we'll continue to do that as well. Business, like I said, fantastic programs: management, marketing, accounting, sales, computer information systems. Students benefit from a dedicated staff. Our staff come from experiences both in the field. They worked at large corporations all over the world, close to River Falls, some not so close to River Falls. That close proximity to the Twin Cities is huge for a lot of our students to start looking at internships. We have alumni at corporations all over the world too, so easy ways for students to make some of those connections and explore some of their areas of interest in whatever area that might be. Like I said, elementary education, as a teacher training institution for a number of years, has been a top program for us. Students get some really cool, robust classroom experiences as an elementary education major. we'll put you in a classroom your first semester and your first year on campus. We want to get you that experience right away, help you kind of solidify your true path and figure out what that is going to be for you. Also, some really great programs in secondary education too. So if you want to teach to that kind of 6th grade through 12th grade level in a specific content area. Biology has been recognized by the state of Wisconsin with the Region's Teaching Excellence Award, which is an award that's given out to a single academic department on a campus throughout the entire UW system. So our biology department won that for the excellent work that our professors and faculty do with the students when they're on campus. A lot of students in that field are looking in what we consider a pre-professional track. So students who are looking at medical school, or you want to become a physician assistant, if you want to become a dentist, optometry, whatever that might be, preparing students for life after River Falls, whether it's going to be a medical degree or another graduate degree as well. And then 5th major, what we consider our 5 most popular, is psychology. It's a fantastic program. It allows students to explore multiple areas of the psychological sciences, mental health, social justice, industrial organizational psychology. Got a ton of ways for students to get involved on campus. We send about 40% of our psych grads on to graduate school, which is twice the national average. And so that curriculum really prepares students for advanced degrees, but as well as individual career placement as well. I thought I'd like to talk about our top 5 just because we've got programs throughout all 4 of our distinct colleges, right? So students get kind of an idea for what those programs look like. But as I said before, we have 70 plus areas of study on campus. So don't get discouraged. I didn't touch on every major, what we might have. Definitely check out our website. You'll see a ton of different information for course programs out there. And I'll share some informational links at the end of this presentation, as well as students can check out with that too. I want to jump a little bit and just kind of get a better idea for who's on campus. So our average class size is right around 22. We have a student to faculty ratio of 18 to 1. And so students get a ton of one-on-one support from their faculty and staff when they're at River Falls. It allows students to really get a feel for who am I going to be hanging out with, who's going to be there to support me. Am I going to be able to know my faculty and my professors? Am I going to be able to interact with the same people every day? Am I going to get to be able to interact with new people every day? And I think our campus is kind of that happy medium size, right? So you'll meet new people all the time when you're on campus, but it's also easy for you to find your community, find the folks that you want to hang out with, and find the folks that are going to help you and support you throughout your time as well. We've got about 6,000 total students, about 6,100 total students. And so they call us small to medium size, like I said before. We're a pretty even split between Wisconsin and Minnesota. So we do get a lot of our students from Minnesota as well, because we're so close to the border. There's a healthy border battle going on campus. That out-of-state number includes students from over 30 different states. And so you'll be able to interact with students from all over the country. We also have international students from 20 plus countries as well. So there's a great mix of students who are on campus, being able to get involved in a number of different ways and being able to interact with a lot of different folks. We have over 150 clubs and organizations on campus, which allows students to get involved in a variety of ways. It could be a club based on your academic program, a major you have, or a minor. It could be an academic program that you're not currently studying, but you have an interest in. We've got hobby and social organizations, and then we also have organizations based on whatever identities you might hold. So a lot of ways for students to get involved on campus, kind of feel their community, and find folks who they can resonate with and find folks who they want to have as part of themselves. For students who are interested, we do have 17 NCAA varsity sports. We play at the Division III level in the WIAC, so it's the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. We offer sports in a variety of capacities to support students, but we also know that not all students are looking at a varsity sport, so a ton of options for students to get involved in both club and intramural sports, or if you just want to go work out or hang out at the Falcon Center, that's also a great option for students too. That's a $63.5 million upgrade to our sports and recreation facility. Sorry about that, Rose. So it includes brand new cardio equipment, strength training equipment. There's an open gym. We've got 2 multi-purpose dance studios in there for students. Just a ton of ways for students to hang out in that facility. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. So The last piece I want to touch on is just going to be a little bit about cost of attendance, value, financial aid, scholarships, things like that. Last year, we gave out $2.4 million in scholarships to all of our students, and that happens in a couple of different ways. We really pride ourselves on being an affordable institution for students, and so having students get a high quality education at a price that makes sense for them. So our scholarships help a lot of students make that as a feasible option. The scholarship guarantee program, these are scholarships that are automatically given to students if they're meeting a certain academic merit. It starts at a 22 on the ACT, top 40% of a graduating class, or a 3.25 GPA. And those are divided between the students' first year on campus and then their second year on campus as well. So the scholarships are spread out to help students kind of plan the kind of long-term piece for us as well. We also have individual scholarships that students can apply for, that they can fill out what we call our foundational scholarships. And in those scholarships, students will fill out one application, automatically applies you for all the scholarships in our system. And then it could be based on your academic program. It could be based on your hometown, your high school. If your parents are members of the Rotary Club, there's a ton of different options for students in there. Depending on what they're going to apply for. So I always encourage students to fill out the scholarship application, just because you never know what scholarships are going to be sitting in that system. So that's what I have from the quote unquote formal presentation part, but interested to hear what questions you all have.
Oh, great. Thanks, David. I'm just going to unmute. Excellent. That was great. I think your presentation really hits on the facts, hits on the real numerical numbers of what River Falls is, but I'm excited to talk more and get real with you about maybe what it's like to actually attend River Falls, what it's like to be a student there, what it's like to decide to go there or not, and then kind of just what the process would look like working with you or another admissions rep to start applying. So I have some questions here that come from students, but I also have some questions that I'll tack onto because I know the campus at least from 6 years ago or so. So yeah, like when you brought up the Falcon Center, I was like, okay, cute. Yeah, no, that was amazing. Yeah, great. Everybody gets to go to the dance studio. But River Falls is an incredible campus. Can you share some more about what the culture of campus is like for students? So kind of what is the typical campus culture? How would students describe their campus to your best ability? I know you're not a student there, but like, how do you think students would describe River Falls?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think students talk about us as a tight-knit community. We benefit from our small campus size, where students are able to find their community and who they want to hang out with fairly quickly. We also have great opportunities for students to get involved in the River Falls community itself, the greater St. Croix Valley. So it's super easy for students to find, maybe internships, jobs on campus, volunteer opportunities. There's always folks who are out there being able to talk to each other about different things that they're passionate about, things that are important to them. Being able to kind of build that, what we call that Falcon community on campus is super great for a lot of our students. I also think that we've got a super supportive campus. There's a ton of us on staff side, the faculty side, who we truly want what's best for students. And you'll hear this on a ton of college campuses, but I always tell students that it's important to figure out how are they doing that, right? What are they doing that shows that they truly care about you, they truly support you. One of the things that I always talk about with students that are looking at different institutions is having those interactions and figuring out who is going to be there and how are they going to be there. So faculty, for example, we don't have any TAs or graduate assistants. So all of our faculty teach 100% of our courses. That means you're going to get a full-fledged professor every time you step into that classroom. That professor is going to be able to know your name. They're going to be able to know what's going on. As you reach out to them with questions, comments, or concerns, they'll be able to know that, and they'll be able to make adjustments and support you the best way that we can. We've got professional staff in a wide variety of different programs on campus and support programs who are being able to do everything they can to make sure students are on the right path, the path they want to be. And like I said, just always striving to be there for each other when they're on campus.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really do think it feels like a tight-knit community when you're there, even though it is did you say it's a small to mid-size? That's what it's technically.
That's what we're technically called, small to medium size. Yeah. Yep.
But I also think because the campus is such like a part of the actual city of River Falls, mm-hmm. you feel kind of a connection to both.
Yep.
And I love that you brought up the staff and the actual like professors at school, because I felt that as a student. But can you mm-hmm. shout out maybe some of those more specific support programs at UWRF, ones that students might recognize by name or ones that they might not know yet?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a ton of support resources on campus. Yeah. One of the really cool buildings, so we just finished and opened Rodley Hall. And so that was repurposed into our brand new Student Success Center. Cool. So that houses pretty much all of our major student support services on campus. We're talking admissions, financial aid, international education, student health and counseling. It's our academic success center, so our tutoring center, new student family programs, houses both of our federal TRIO programs, McNair and student support services. Diversity, inclusion, and belonging is over there as well. So the intent of that building was that we wanted to put everything students really needed all in one spot, so that they weren't having to go to admissions in one building, to financial aid in the next building, to the library to get something taken care of, to then to Hagstead to get something else taken care of. So we really consolidated everything into one place on campus, so that if you have a financial aid question, we can get that taken care of right when you're talking about you want to study abroad. So you can go from one office to the next, walk right past the coffee shop, and it's a super easy transition for students. If you're talking to one of your mentors up in, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and you talk with them and all of a sudden you're like, I'm struggling in this math class, we can walk over to the tutoring center and get you set up right away with a tutoring service in there, which I think is really cool, and allows that camaraderie to happen with a lot of us on campus.
Yeah.
A couple programs I want to touch on specifically, our Aspire program supports students who are first generation, Pell Grant eligible, or students who come from a underrepresented background. That's a transition program. So in students' first year, you get a upper class mentor who's a current student who kind of helps you navigate to campus. It's a person who you can hang out with. It's kind of your first friend you can have on campus, someone you can go to when you are not really sure where to go. You've got a quick question, you're not really sure, how do I navigate this lunch line? How do dining dollars work? I picked up a textbook, but now I don't really know, how do I return my textbook? Or how do I navigate the printer on campus? Where are the printers on campus? So it's little questions that students don't always think about all the time, and that mentor is there to help you. And then we've got a professional staff member who oversees that program that works with a ton of students on more kind of upper level stuff, right? So we're doing financial aid, we're making sure we're getting our tutoring in line, we're checking in on individual academic grades. If you want to do a study abroad experience, what kind of high impact practices, if it's undergraduate research, you want to volunteer work on campus, make sure that we're connecting what you want to do academically with what you want to do personally and professionally as well. So that's a super cool support resource for students. Love my folks over at the Aspire program, so definitely want to shout out to them. The other one I talk about is Student Support Services, which is that federal TRIO organization.
Yeah, TRIO.
Again, yeah, so students who are first generation, have a documented disability, or also Pell Grant eligible. That program supports students their entire time on campus. But again, it's got that academic feel. We're doing grade check-ins, we're getting some academic coaching, we're also creating that community, right? So we're giving you a space where you can go get your questions answered, hang out with some other students, and be able to kind of build that space for you as you see fit as a student on campus.
Yeah. Are you pre-selected for SSS or Aspire, or do people contact you about joining that program?
Yeah, so
both of them to research and apply for. Is that something that they're found and invited to?
Yep, so it's a little bit of both. We do invite students to apply. It's a short application process for both. We just need some information from the student, and then staff on campus is able to put students in the program based on space availability. There are space limits, so I do always encourage students, if you're interested in either one of those programs, to make sure that they apply as soon as possible. Applications for those, after students are admitted to the university, if they decided on River Falls, you can get both the Aspire application and the SSS application on our website too. Or reach out to me and I can send it to you.
Cool, cool. I have another question.
Yes.
Can we talk about the Minnesota-Wisconsin, you called it a border battle? The border battle on campus. There's 49% Minnesotans, about 50% Wisconsin people, yep, and then 1% beyond. In that kind of border battle, are there any other sort of cultural collisions that you see on campus, or ways that plays out that students should be aware of before they come to River Falls, or just be tuned into?
Yeah, so what I always tell students is one of the cool things about River Falls, and I would say most colleges, is you're going to be able to interact with people who you didn't normally get to interact with, right? And so you're going to be able to interact with folks who come from different backgrounds. So whether it's going to be ethnic background, whether it's going to be socioeconomic class, whether it's going to be religious background, sexual orientation, whatever that might be, college is this great melting pot of folks who come with a wide variety of different identities they hold, and different identities that are going to be shared in that space with them as students. We get students from the smallest high schools in both Wisconsin and Minnesota. We're talking graduating classes of 10, 15, 20, 35 students.
Yeah, Kaya. Yeah, Kaya.
All the way up until our largest schools, you know, we're talking graduating classes of 700, 800 students. And so students come with very different experiences. And I think it's really cool for students to be able to kind of come together and see that, you know, be able to have those interactions. But it's also important for students to understand that other people are going to come with other experiences. And so expecting the best out of each other, and understanding that what most people are putting forward is their best selves, and taking that, and then being able to help each other out, right? Helping each other grow in a space that's safe and secure and welcoming as well.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah, when I think about, I grew up on the west side of St. Paul, and then I took myself to River Falls, and there were literal cows on my campus. There were cows with hoofs, yep, and udders, and there were horses. And it was a bit shocking to me, a bit shocking, but I love that advice of just like approaching it with the lens of that other people are coming from where they are coming from with different experiences, and to expect the best. Because that can happen anywhere. That can happen at River Falls. That can happen at any other institution or post-secondary choice when we're working with other people. I think that's solid advice for anything.
Most schools don't have Colleen the Dream, which is the giant cow that comes out during homecoming. That's right. A fantastic way to come together as a campus community.
Yeah. I remember there's like fraternities and sororities on campus, another like club, right, or thing that students can get involved in. But one of the things that they like had on campus one year was that you could ride a cow. And so I rode a cow. I did that. Why not expand your experiences? Or can, if you choose to be part. It's all a mindset. Oh my. David, I think I just have 2 more questions.
Okay.
And I'm selecting the best ones. I'm hoping to. Let's see. Well, I guess, so most students that would be seeing this or be thinking about this video are from Minneapolis. Can you talk about the benefits of going to River Falls in relation to coming from the Twin Cities? So being close to home, but maybe also feeling further away. Can you talk about that transition that students go through, and what that's kind of like in a whole year scope. So like from that August move-in to May when students move out, what could that be like if a student's coming from Minneapolis?
Yeah. One of the things that I hear from students all the time who come from Minneapolis is, especially West Minneapolis, it's that I'm far enough away from home, right, where mom's not going to drop in on like Wednesday night just to like hang out with me. But I'm also close enough where like if I need to go home for the weekend, there's a birthday party, if I miss mom's cooking. I typically, before I got to River Falls, I always said laundry. We include laundry on campus, so laundry's, you're not taking your laundry home anymore. It's already free for you.
You know how many quarters River Falls took from me? Yeah, buckets.
See, but the new folks don't have to worry about that, so we're upgrading for everyone.
Oh, what a campus! Oh my gosh! It's free!
Quick shout out too, I just thought about this too. I will throw in there, textbooks are also free since we're talking
what?
about
Free? Oh my gosh! That really is a game changer. That really is. Yeah.
Fun fact for anyone out there, just go out and just Google the average textbook cost for a college student throughout the year, and just see for yourself what that number is going to look like. So if your school's not including them, that number's got to come for you out of pocket sometimes. So something to take into account.
Isn't it true that all UW schools besides Madison and Milwaukee, they rent their books?
Most of us now. I can count them a handful that I know for sure do. I can tell you Madison does not.
No, Madison does not. Yeah. Confirm.
So I think this is a personal preference, but I think most schools should move to that model. And just tack it into tuition anyways, and just let me pay it with my financial aid I'm paying for anyways. So.
Well, you know, it's great. I can point to my bookshelf here right now. None of these are from college. Not one. I didn't pay for a single book, except for they had some optional ones that I purchased. But I mean, it saves you so, like the value of River Falls. I know I'm not the admissions like presenter, but from personal experience, it is truly so affordable. It is so affordable if done thoughtfully, and if done with a plan in place, can be really amazing for the price. Yeah.
I'm going to touch on the Twin Cities, Minneapolis part and touch on value and cost of attendance. So we were recently ranked 8th in the nation for value as an institution. It's the highest ranking in the upper Midwest. So it came from the Wall Street Journal. Basically, they sent a survey out to students, and there was a few questions, but basically it boils down to, was your education worth it? Was what you paid for your education worth what you got out of it? Whether that was professional growth, whether it was personal growth, whether you boiled it down to whatever your salary was. And our students said that the education they got at River Falls was worth what they paid for. And so it's that exceptional education the students are getting, but also at a price that makes sense for them and their families too. So also something I hear from a lot of students in the Twin Cities area is, as I'm looking at different colleges and I start comparing financial aid offers, I always tell students, before I worked at River Falls, I worked for College Possible in Milwaukee.
I worked for College Possible in Minneapolis.
And so when I was there working with my college students, I always talk with them about, when you look at your first year financial aid offer, it can be one thing, but make sure you know what your sophomore year, your junior year, your senior year, your fifth year, what those financial aid offers are going to be as well, right? And so you want to be able to stay consistent with what that's going to be. So if you know you're going to lose a scholarship, you got to make up $1,000. You know you got to make up $1,000, but you know that ahead of time. And transparency piece is so important for students to have access to, right? So our scholarship guarantee, we tell you right up front, it's $1,000 for your first year. You maintain a 3.0, it's $1,000 for your second year. You have that guaranteed. You just got to meet your end of the deal. We'll meet our end of the deal on that. And so make sure students know if there's any, of those kind of specific pieces that are in that financial aid or scholarship letter, or whatever that might be. You have to meet certain criteria. Are there certain expectations? Just make sure students have an understanding of what that is going to be. I went off a little bit of tangent there.
No, that's
but
good. It's good.
But yeah, so the students of the Twin Cities, like I said, close enough to home where you need to go home, but far enough away where you get that independence. You get to kind of grow on your own. You get to make your own choices. You get to decide what you want to have for dinner. If you're going to have ice cream every night, you're going to have ice cream for breakfast. You can do that because it's free for all of our students in our cafeteria on campus. But they're finding different ways, and I think, to interact with each other. You'll find that because we've got students from a larger conglomerate of our students come from Minnesota and Wisconsin. You get those experiences that are similar. You kind of get that, Midwest nice, as they call it, or so, where you get to hang out with people. But, you get to talk with students who you might not know that student, but they went to a high school down the block from you, or they went to a high school a few miles away, or you were both at the Minnesota State Fair at the same time, at the same year, which the odds are pretty good at that. And so there's different ways for students to be able to find, those connections and find their people. And a lot of our students then go back and work in Minneapolis or St. Paul as well, kind of the greater Twin Cities area too. So then after you leave River Falls, you also have those connections as well. And so as you're looking at your life after us as a young alumni, being able to have those connections with people who are still in that area and still in that community has been big for a lot of our students.
Yeah. Great. My final question is really just kind of a wrap up. What advice do you have for a student deciding to come to River Falls? Or even beyond that, what advice do you have for a high school student trying to make a big decision in their life? You can answer either way you feel called to. Yeah.
I think I'll answer from both, right? Because I think the process depends a little bit on where students are in that process. Yeah. So if you're a junior, sophomore, or younger, just starting out the college search, it's a great experience. And I always tell students to make sure you enjoy that search. There's a ton of pressure on students, I think, from a wide variety of different resources to make that kind of college decision, to start looking at schools. But my best advice is to just enjoy the process. You're going to embark. It's a super exciting journey. You're going to get to explore so many different college options. So look at schools that are close by. Look at schools that are far away. Look at schools that have majors you never thought about. Being able to explore, do I want a big school? Do I want a small school? One benefit, if we can find a benefit in the social distancing world, is that a lot of schools are moving to virtual visit days, virtual tours, virtual online experiences, right? So you're getting access to a ton more colleges than you've ever had before. A lot of schools had virtual things, but now we're all being forced to move to a virtual model for a lot of our visit stuff, especially this spring. So, for students who might not have been able to go visit a school further away, you can probably get some sort of a virtual feel for that institution during this time. So I guess a small little silver lining for the social distancing that's happening. But yeah, like I said, really it's just enjoy the process. Keep good notes, make sure you start narrowing down your process, figure out what's important to you, figure out what are my must-haves or things that I'm okay with. Also, make sure you're having that conversation with some other folks in your life so that you're all on the same page. It was a fun part of my life was I decided that I was not going to go to a school that was further than an hour away from home. I came from a place that I could do that. All the public schools I was looking at in Wisconsin were within an hour away from home, an hour and a half or so. And I had really good friends who were like, nope, I don't want to go anywhere that's not me getting on a plane. And then she told her mom she was getting on a plane to go to college, and her and her mom were not on the same page about that process. Yeah. So I always encourage students to start that conversation with folks in their life early and as soon as possible, so you're all on the same page when you start making that decision. Which kind of jumps into my advice for students who are making that final decision process is, again, also enjoy it. Right? You've made a really big decision in your life. That's a really cool thing for you to do. So share that. I know celebrations are looking a little bit different right now, but you should still be sharing that with the folks who are most important to you. if you're still debating between a couple campuses, right? So there's 2 schools you really can't choose between. Always recommend just reaching out. Most admissions counselors are working remotely right now. We'd love to connect with students in any way, shape, or form. So if it's not our question, if we can't answer that question, we'll get you connected with somebody who does. If you want to talk to a current student, we can get you connected with somebody that want to talk to an alumni from your potential major. We can have that happen. So there's still ways for students to get through this process, even when we're all virtual and social distancing, and just be able to enjoy what that process looks like for them too.
Yeah, that's huge. Thank you, David. Thank you so much. That's really solid advice. It gets me thinking about the students I work with and the students beyond who I don't know. Really solid advice. Thank you for sharing about River Falls. It made me so happy to think of hearing familiar words like names of buildings or places around campus really just warmed my heart. It's a place that I loved attending. It was a really good fit for me and a really strong value. And some of my best friends are from there. So thanks for taking part in this today. And then we also just want to say congrats on graduating.
Thank you.
Project Success, we celebrate successes, and that's a huge accomplishment. So way to go. I know you're not getting the graduation you expected, but you deserve it. So thanks for being here for us. Kaya, what else should we keep in mind?
Yes. Now, if you're super excited like Rose to go to University of Wisconsin River Falls, after this video, you can check out the links next to the video for contact information, website links, URLs, all that fun stuff. Additionally, you can check out www.projectsuccess.org/college tours for updates on any upcoming tours. Thank you so much for watching today. We hope you have a really awesome rest of your day, and we hope to see you on future Project Success college and career tours.
Yeah!
Yay!
Thank you.